Hello everyone. So in today's lecture we are going to start with a new chapter called as consignment. So first we'll try to understand what do you mean by consignment. Meaning of consignment. Consignment means to send. Consign it means to send. Sending the goods from one person to another person. Sending the goods from one person to another person is called as consignment. Listen, the person who is going to send the goods, the person who is going to send the goods is called as consigner, N-O-R, consigner. And the person who is going to receive the goods is called as consignee. So what do you mean by consignment? It is sending the goods from one person to another person. Now let us assume that consigner is in Bangalore and let us say consignee is in Mysore. Now consigner, who is the owner of the goods, is sending the goods to the consignee. You can call consignee even as selling agent. What consignee is going to do? He is going to sell the goods which is being sent by the consignor. And whatever the goods the consignee has sold, selling agent has sold, on that he is going to get the commission. So once again, a person who is going to send the goods is called as consignor. The person who is going to receive the goods is called as consignee or agent, selling agent. And consignor is telling to consignee that, sir, whatever the goods have sent to you, you please sell that goods to the customer. So for whatever the value of the goods, how much ever the quantity of goods you have sold, on that I'm going to pay the commission. So consignor is going to pay the commission to the consignee. Now you have to understand that consignor is only sending the goods. Consignor is not selling the goods. He is not transferring the ownership of the goods to the consignee. He is just giving the possession of the goods to the consignee. Let us take one example. Assume that consignor has sent 1 lakh number of markers to consignee. Let us say cost of each marker is 10 rupee. So consignor has sent 1 lakh number of markers. Cost of each marker is 10 rupee. So 1 lakh into 10. So total cost comes to 10 lakh. So this 10 lakh is called as cost of goods sent is 10 lakh. Now what the consignee has to do? Consignee has to sell these markers. Let us assume out of 1 lakh markers, 70,000 markers are sold by consignee. 70,000 markers are sold by consignee. Let us say at a selling price of 20 rupees per marker. So 70,000 into 20, it comes to 14 lakhs. So consignee has sold 70,000 markers at the rate of 20 rupees each, so 14 lakh rupees. Now see, listen. When consignor is going to send the goods to the consignee of 10 lakh rupees cost of the goods, consignee is not supposed to pay even a single rupee. Agent is not supposed to pay even a single rupee because we are not selling the goods. If I sell the goods, then you are liable to make the payment to me. I'm not selling, I'm just sending the goods. But what the consignor will say, for security reason, he may ask for some deposits, some security deposit or some advance amount. So consignor will tell to consignee that, sir, I'm sending 10 lakh rupees of goods to you. I know that you are not liable to pay any money to me because I'm not selling, I'm just sending. But just for some security reason, you please pay me some advance amount. Let us assume that consignee has paid an advance of rupees 1 lakh. Consignee has paid money to the consignor 1 lakh rupees as an advance. Next. Now what the consignee will tell, sir, if I want to sell the goods in Mysore, then I need to keep a shop. In that I need to keep some staff, employees. I need to pay salary to them. I need to pay shop rent, maintenance charges of the shop, electric charges. So all those expenses which are required to be made to run the business, to sell these markers in Mysore, all those expenses initially it will be paid by consignee. Initially it will be paid by consignee out of his pocket. And later on, at the end of the period or at the end of the year, consignor will do refund to the consignee. Consignor will do reimbursement or refund to the consignee. So consignor is telling to the consignee, all those expenses which are required to run the business, to sell these markers, you please pay out of your pocket. Later on, I'm going to repay it back to you. I'm going to do reimbursement to you. So let us assume expenses incurred on behalf of consignor. Expenses incurred on behalf of consignor. So consignor is paying the expenses on behalf of consignor. Let us assume it is 150,000 rupees. So who has paid these expenses? Consignee. Later on, this money he is going to get back from consignor. Next. Now the consignor will tell to consignee that how much ever the sales you are going to make, on that sales I am going to give 10% as a commission. So consignor is going to pay the commission to the consignee for services provided by consignee. And what services are provided? To sell the goods to the customer. So let us say rate of commission is 10%. So commission is 10% of sales. Commission is always paid on sales, 10% of sales. So 14 lakh is the sales into 10%, 1,40,000. So this commission consignor has to pay to consignee. Next. Now see, listen. Totally 1 lakh number of markers consignor has sent to the which one? Consignee. Out of 1 lakh markers, only 70,000 markers are being sold. Only 70,000 markers are being sold. It means that consignee is having remaining 30,000 markers. Remaining 30,000 markers are left out with consignee. For this 30,000 markers, who is the owner? Consignor is the owner of these 30,000 markers. So these 30,000 markers which are left out with consignee, we are going to call it as consignment stock. or you can say consignment inventory. Inventory of stock means unsold goods. Unsold goods left with the consignee is going to be called as consignment stock or consignment inventory. And how many markers are being left out? 30,000 units. Because we have sent 1 lakh markers, out of that 30,000, sorry, out of that 70,000 markers are sold. So remaining 30,000 markers are being left out. These are called as consignment stock or consignment inventory. Yes. So once I'll repeat, consignor is going to send the goods to the consignee. The person who going to send the goods, the person who sends the goods is called as consignor. The person who receives the goods is called as consignee. So whenever consignor is going to send the goods to consignee, consignor has to give the details of goods sent. He has to give the details of goods sent. How much quantity of goods sent, what type of goods sent. So all these details consignor has to give to consignee. So whenever he is going to send the goods, along with the goods sent, he is going to send one document that is called as pro forma invoice. Pro forma invoice. See, pro forma invoice means a document which is going to look like an invoice. It just looks like an invoice. It's not actual an invoice. It's just a document which looks like an invoice. Now, why consignor is not sending actually the invoice to the consignee? Because we are not selling the goods. We are just sending the goods. So we want to give the details of goods sent to the consignee. So we send one document called as pro forma invoice, which looks like an invoice but actually it's not an invoice. And whenever 1 lakh number of markers consignee is received, consignee is not supposed to pay even a single rupee out of this. 1 lakh into 10 rupee cost 10 lakh. Is not supposed to pay even a single rupee because consignee is not buying the goods. He's just receiving the goods. Out of 1 lakh markers, whenever 70,000 markers is being sold to the customer, then whatever the money he has collected from the customer, he has to give it to the consignor. So out of 1 lakh markers, 70,000 markers are sold at the rate of 20 rupees. It comes to 14 lakhs. So what are these 14 lakh rupees is there? It is in the hands of consignee. Now consignee has to give this money to the consignor because the owner of the goods, the real owner of the goods is consignor. This money belongs to the consignor. But what the consignee will do, he is not going to send entire 14 lakh rupees to the consignor. So out of 14 lakh rupees, he is going to deduct three things. And only the balance amount he is going to send to the consignor. So what consignee will tell, sir, I done a sales of 14 lakh rupees. Out of 14 lakh, first I am going to deduct 1 lakh. Because the day when you have sent 1 lakh number of markers to me, I paid some advance to you. That advance is refundable. I need to get back that advance from you. So whatever the 1 lakh rupees I paid as an advance to you, I need to get it back from you. So he's going to deduct this 1 lakh. So whatever the advance paid by the consignee. Next, he is going to deduct 50,000. Consignee will say that on behalf of you, I paid 50,000 rupees expenses. Shop rent, electric charges, staff salary and everything. I paid on behalf of you. And you told that you are going to refund that money to me in future. So I'm going to deduct that 50,000 which I paid out of my pocket. So first is going to deduct 1 lakh which he paid at the beginning when the goods are being sent by consignor to consignee. Next, he is going to deduct the expenses incurred on behalf of consignor. Next, he will say that, sir, I am supposed to get commission of 10%. You told that you will pay 10% commission on the sales made. So 14 lakh into 10% commission comes to 1 lakh 40. So he's going to deduct this amount, 1 lakh 40. And now only the balance amount, only the remaining amount, consignee is going to send to the consignor. So 14 lakh minus 1 lakh plus 50 plus 140. So total it comes to 2 lakh 90,000. So 14 lakh minus 2 lakh 19,000. 2 lakh 90,000. It comes to 11 lakh 10,000. So this balance amount consignee has to pay to the consignor. So all these details, all this information, consignee is going to provide to the consignor at the end of the period, at the end of the year. Consignee will give this 6 information to the consignee by writing in a sheet of paper, by writing in a statement that is called as account sales. What do you mean by account sales? Account sales is a statement. Statement means a sheet of paper. And it is called as periodical statement. Why it is called as periodical statement? Because it is not sent daily. Daily consignee will not send it to the consignor. It is sent once in a time period. At the end of the year or at the end of the period, whatever it is. So it is called as a periodical statement sent by consignee to consignor, which consists of 6 informations. Now listen, what all 6 informations are there? Sales made by consignee. In our example, it is 14 lakh rupees. That is 70,000 markers into 20. Next, expenses incurred on behalf of the consignor, 50,000 rupees. Unsold inventory left with the consignee. Unsold stock left with the consignee, 30,000 units. So even consignee has to tell how many number of units are left out with me. 30,000 units. Advance payment or security deposit with the consignor. Whatever the advance payment made to the consignor, advance payment or security deposit with the consignor. In our example, it is 1 lakh. Balance payment due. So how much is the balance amount due which has to be paid? That is 11 lakh 10,000. And how did we got this 11 lakh 10,000? So whatever the sales the consignee has done, out of that he is going to deduct advance amount, expenses incurred on behalf of consignor, his commission, and remaining amount balance is going to pay to the consignor. And is going to give one more information, that is consignment stock or consignment inventory, that is 30,000 units. In a statement that is called as account sales. Account sales is a periodical statement sent by consignee to consignor. I hope this many things you have understood. Now let us just read the notes. Meaning of consignment, consignor and consignee. Consignment means it is a transaction of sending the goods. It is sending the goods from by one person to another person. The person who sends the goods is called as consigner. The person to whom the goods are sent, receiver of the goods, is called as consignee. And why the goods are being sent? So that it is being sold on behalf of the consigner. Consignee has to sell the goods on behalf of the consigner. Next, consignment means transaction of sending the goods by one person to another person. Okay. The relationship between consigner and consignee. See, you can call consigner as an owner. He is the owner of the goods. And consignee, you can call it as an agent. So, consigner and consignee is like principal and agent, selling agent. So, I am the owner, principal, and you are the agent. You are selling the goods on behalf of me. And for that, you are going to get the commission. So, here only the possession of the goods is being transferred. Ownership is not transferred. Only possession of goods and not the ownership goods is transferred to the consignee. If consigner is the owner of the goods, then obviously if any goods will get damaged, if any damage of goods will happen, then it is going to be my risk, my loss, consigner loss. So risk of goods remains with the consigner. Why? Because ownership of the goods remains with the consigner. So consigner is the owner of the goods. So risk of the goods also remains with the consigner. Next, consignee is entitled to reimbursement of expenses. Reimbursement of expenses incurred by him on behalf of the consigner. So all those expenses what consignee has incurred to do the consignment business, that he is going to get reimbursement from the consigner. Consignee is entitled to the commission to agreed remuneration. Here remuneration means commission. So consignee have a right to get the commission on sales made by him. And the last line, in this consignment business, which is happening in Mysore, if any profit or loss will happen, that will go to the consigner. Any profit or loss on consignment business belongs to the consigner because he is the owner of the goods. And how much profit or loss has happened on consignment business, that will be calculated by the consigner itself. Consignee will not calculate how much is profit or loss happened on consignment business. It is calculated by the consigner, owner of the goods. And all profit or loss on that particular consignment business also belongs to the consigner because he is the owner of the goods. Profit or loss on sale of goods sent on consignment belongs to the consigner. Next, pro forma invoice. Pro forma invoice looks like an invoice, but really not one. Whenever consigner is going to send the goods to consignee, he has to tell details of goods sent. For that, he is going to create a document called as pro forma invoice, which just looks like an invoice, but actually it's not an invoice. Who prepares pro forma invoice? When the consigner sends goods to the consignee, he prepares only a pro forma invoice and not an invoice. So consigner is going to prepare the pro forma invoice. Next, account sales. Account sales is a periodical summary statement. Is a periodical summary sent by the consignee to the consigner. Periodical means it is not sent daily. it is sent only once at the end of the period or at the end of the year. It contains the following details: sales made, expenses incurred on behalf of the consignor, commission earned by consignee, unsold stock left with the consignee, advance payment or security deposit with the consignor, and balance amount which is payable. Don't get confused with sales account. Sales account means cash sale of goods, credit sale of goods. It is not sales account. It is account sales. So be careful. Account sales is not an account. It's not a ledger account. It's a statement. It is a statement, summary statement, and it is different from sales account. Sales account means a place where we are going to record cash sales and credit sales. It is an account, ledger account, where we record cash sales and credit sales. That is sales account. So sales account is different and account sales is different.